From Code 591 in beautiful downtown Jesup, Iowa. This is the birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution. We are the Bohemian Underground with producer Blake Tempus and co-host Dale Rueber. I'm Jim Gillespie, and this is the Jesup News for June 30th, 2025. We are sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster. The Pharaohs are kind sponsors of this podcast, include them at your wedding, graduation, or festival plans. Don't wait, their schedule is filling up for 2025. They are sponsoring a traveling art show for the Steve Brown Art Center. They sold a piece of art for us at Farmer's Day this year, a Nick Thomas piece.
Well, good. He brought me over a lobster sandwich, and he said it was Friday, so he said, this morning, this lobster was in the water in Maine, and he picked it up in Chicago, I think early afternoon, and then I was eating his sandwich about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was fresh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's
That's wild.
But they fly it into Cedar Rapids, and so it was very good. It was, about as fresh as you can get lobster in Iowa, I think.
Right.
But it was very, very good.
I know my wife had their pizza. She had to go back for a second slice.
Yeah, the pizza is excellent too. He always brings me a slice of pizza every year at Farmer's Day too. So
I've got a when we have our conversation, we'll talk about our style pizza with him.
Yeah, there you go.
He made me one of our style pizzas.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him. How did it taste?
It was good. It was good. Oh, yeah. Another sponsor who has been with us since the birth of the Steve Brown Art Center is Derek's Repair, located in Jesup, Iowa. Contact Derek Marty for your car repair needs. So check out the podcast, What Is Up, with our friend Bubba Seaman. Bubba does a nice job. He has some big names out. Tonight we've got a big name.
We got a big name, sure.
We've got a big name with us in the community. I've been pursuing this man to be on our show for a long time.
Well, he always was quick and shifty, I remember, as a child. So he'd be hard to corner.
I wanted to have him on to talk fishing and hunting.
Yeah.
But then I have breakfast with him and a few other guys once or twice a month. And I went to the doctor. I tell you guys this story. I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, a lot of your stuff is high. You need to lose some weight. And I said, put me on some of that Ozempic or some of that stuff.
Yeah, that
Ozempic.
And she said, I'm not going to do that. You're hard-headed. You can lose weight on your own, she said. I said, no, get me some of that. I mean, I'm too old to work that hard at losing weight anymore. I used to do it by just running. It was easy to run it off. And I don't run anymore. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that. You're going to be happy. You're going to be happy that you do it yourself. So I showed her. I went home, and I had a homemade pizza with crust and everything. I had a hot fudge sundae. I had some of those pizza rolls.
You're like a rebellious child, don't you?
I showed her.
I'll show you.
I showed her. Then I got up in the morning. I thought that was really stupid.
Oh, you have 10 more pounds to lose.
Yeah. And then I went to breakfast with our guest BJ Youngblut. BJ, thanks for coming in and having this conversation.
It's a pleasure.
That's the longest introduction we've ever had for anybody on our podcast. So.
It's a pleasure to be here.
What happened at breakfast, BJ, was I heard you and another guy talking about the carnivorous diet. And so, being the nosy guy I am, I listened in and then I asked you about it.
Yeah, you just asked. You never really said anything, though. I mean, you just kind of was like, so what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I said, the carnivore diet.
And I went home and I read it. Of course, we ate pretty hard at breakfast. And I probably overdid it at breakfast that day. And the next day I got up and I had to get groceries, and I was in. But it was because of you. Let's talk about the carnivorous diet. How did you get involved in it, BJ?
A couple of my buddies did it. I seen the results from them. I was just like, what'd you lose in 2 months? Are you kidding me? And it wasn't really about the weight loss. So same thing here. I was pushing 240, and I had to do something. With all of my family history, with the heart conditions, the diabetes on my mom's side is really, really high. I got several uncles on it. So one of my buddies, he's more of a, well, this is what you do, and this is why you do it, for the health reasons. It's not just about losing weight. It was more for the health reasons on it. And I'm like, really? You just eat meat and cheese? Are you kidding me? That's right up my alley. So, and I had to do something. I was drinking way too much pop. I drank 0 water, and that was basically about it, you know. And I was just fed up. You know how you get when you're done, where you got to go tie your shoes and you take that deep breath. Well, that was on the that was like 20 pounds, you know, ago. Yeah. Now I got to take a deep breath and have my shoe up on the chair, and then go. And I was just done. I was done, and the doctor scared me when he said, "Well, you're pre-diabetic." I got a really fatty liver. And my liver, I believe it was the AST counts, you know, when they do your blood and everything, and it was like high. You go, and a lot of that was probably not drinking the water, of not doing the function. I mean, I could go, shoot, I'd drive to Minneapolis and back and only pee once, if I was lucky. It was just, that was my everyday routine, you know, just drink 12 Mountain Dews plus, you know, a day, 0 water. And I had to do something, and then I had a first cousin that passed, and that was it for me. He passed at 57. My dad died at 41. You know, I had an uncle in the late 60s, my grandma in the late 60s, you know, of heart issues and all of that. And I was like, I don't want to be that way, you know. So I got my mind made up, and that's what I did. And I feel great.
Have you had a checkup since then with a doctor?
Yes,
and is things looking better? Your numbers are better?
Yeah, so here you go. And I told Jim this. I quit taking my blood pressure. I quit taking my cholesterol medicine. I've been on cholesterol medicine since my mid-20s. Cholesterol, I'd say mid to late 30s. And I quit taking them. I quit taking the statins 2 months, and I knew I had a checkup coming. And 2 months into the carnivore diet, I quit taking them, and all of a sudden, now I'm here doing my blood work. I didn't tell my doctor that, but he got a little pissy with me about it. He was a little, don't do it again. Yeah. But so now I'm off everything, in which is hard to believe because all we eat is red meat, eggs, everything for cholesterol level. Here's the thing too, is that your cholesterol level years ago was 300. You know, then they lowered it. We could talk about Big Pharma or whoever you want, but they lowered it to 200. So now it's at 200. And when I was taking my cholesterol medicine, I was at 171. All right, in which it was the statin. I was at 199. Just keep doing what you're doing, and my blood pressure was great.
What was your blood pressure?
I'm not really for sure on the numbers, but I was going to Walmart, having them. He said, do this for a couple weeks to make sure. Right. And I was doing it, and everything was good. And then my fatty liver, my count went down 25 points because I'm flushing my system out, and it corrected all of that fatty liver into that. And he was like, man, your blood work is spot on for your age, for everything. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine. You know, which I couldn't believe the cholesterol, because what we're eating. Yeah. Red meat, grease, butter. Yeah. You know, and the energy level. Shoot, I'd go home and take a nap at like 1, 2 o'clock. You know, I'd just feel zoned. Now I feel like I'm 25 years old. My body doesn't, but my energy level does.
So you cut out things like what, potatoes and bread?
Yeah, absolutely everything.
Okay, no vegetables?
No veggies. Okay. You know, so that's kind of like the keto diet, is like your veggies and stuff like that, your green beans, but your carbs, what's your carbs turn into? Sugar. You know, everything basically turns into a sugar. Bananas, you eat a half a banana, your sugar level goes clear up.
Should I eat a banana? I eat a banana every day.
Yeah, apples anymore. It turns into sugar. Everything that basically you produce anymore turns into sugar.
So it's like the opposite of, say, the Mediterranean diet, where they say eat a lot of vegetables and fish and chicken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But you eat a lot of fish, though.
Oh,
BJ.
Yeah, I eat a lot of fish.
Fish
I
and
showed
chicken? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
You can eat any meat. Any meat or like sour cream, but you got to look at what the preservatives that they put into a sour cream, what goes with it. If anything's natural like that, and your butter, you can eat it. You know, like your milk, they pasteurize it and everything else, so you got to be really careful on like your dairy. But eggs, chicken, you know, any meat that you want, you know, and Well, you've been on it. How do you feel? Because I feel great. My bones, everything feels great.
I've been eating a lot of eggs, and let's go back to butter a minute. I went years never bought butter. I always bought margarine, and I started buying butter and frying my eggs in butter. This past week I had three egg omelets for breakfast different days. Cooked them in butter.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, eggs taste so much better cooked in butter.
Everything tastes better with butter.
Yeah, it does.
So you know what I do is I save my bacon grease. I mean, that's, you talk about cholesterol levels. Let's add some bacon grease into your pan. But that I do. My wife bought a little can, and it filters out all your little chunks, and we'll dump that bacon grease right in it, and it filters out everything, and you got pure bacon grease.
That's the way my mother cooked, with bacon grease.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that bacon grease?
Your eggs instead of butter.
Oh, you cook it in the bacon
absolutely.
grease. Really?
Yeah, and like my omelets, so what I'll do is I'll cut up some pieces of bacon, fry it first, and then I'll dump the eggs right into that bacon grease.
Yeah.
See, I don't eat bacon very often. I don't fry bacon very often. No, I will. See,
Are you American? Everybody loves bacon.
I like bacon. I love BLTs. Now, I'm a little frightened about BLT season because I got 9 tomato plants. And
sound like 3 times a day, 2 sandwiches each time.
Yeah. And that scares me a little bit, but bread doesn't excite me anymore. I mean, I'm on the road 3 days a week. I used to stop at McDonald's every time I was on the road.
Me too.
I just don't want the bread from McDonald's, and I used to love the fries. I'd buy 2 double orders of French fries, eat that grease and the salty fries. Oh my gosh, that was good. And I do miss that every once in a while, but I don't break.
So can you do this years at a time? I mean, is it a forever diet?
There's, and I'm going to try it. I think it's going to be a lifestyle change for me just because of my numbers on my blood and just what my doctors kind of said about it. You know, as long as my cholesterol and everything, I might have to go back on a statin, cholesterol medicine, or whatever. But I believe it's a lifestyle change for me because I feel so good, and my bones and my joints are just I feel great. Yeah, I mean, I really do.
Well, it's wonderful.
And Jim, you're a little bit older than me, and your body feels.
Oh, I feel good. You asked me if I felt good.
Yeah, your joints. They feel lubricated. They the inflammation. That's a big thing. So your inflammation is gone. And I went to Canada. I just got back from a 5-day Canada trip. Well, what did I do? I ate that beer battered, and that walleye. Yeah. We ate that. Yeah. And I had some potatoes, some carbs, because I'm the cook up there, so I got to make guys the potatoes, I slice them up, put eggs, fry them, and do all that for the guys. And I'm like over there, and I'm like, man, that looks really good. I ate one, and I'm like, oh, that really tasted good. But for the most part, I did all right, which I gained a little pounds, which I would expect.
How much weight did you gain?
There's about 6 pounds, 6 to 7 pounds. And who does that in like 7-8 days? But it was all the inflammation. I just and I could tell my stomach bloated. I was bloated. I didn't feel right. My hands. And that was the thing too, is that about every morning, I worked for Deere, handled a lot of parts every day. And you'd grab them parts, and my hands just hurt. Every morning I'd have to do my stretches. Well, I had to redo that. And I was drinking the water too. I didn't drink any pop. Yeah. I was just the other stuff that went with it. And I'm believing that it's because I was eating like crap. Back to normal, where I got to do my hand stretches in the morning where they hurt and my joints were hurting. And then as soon as I got back, I got strict on the diet. Within 3 days, I was back to my normal weight. I think I got rid of that bloatiness. Now my hands quit hurting. My joints feel better. So I don't really know what that contributes to, but every day I used to wake up and my hands hurt. I'd have to do my hand stretches. Yeah. Now that I'm on this diet, I don't have to.
And the man you were talking to at breakfast, is he similar results? He feels good? And
yeah, but he had to go on the keto diet because My feeling to him is that he didn't give it a chance because he wasn't having his regular bowel movements, and he felt the first 10 days, I'm going to tell you, is tough, wasn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
It felt like you got the flu. You feel lethargic. You feel, your body's going through a sugar withdrawal or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Your body's trying to fight and saying, hey, this ain't right. What's going on here? You need to start feeding me them sugars.
Yeah.
You need to start feeding me something that I'm used to and that I've been eating. And so he got a little constipated. I can't remember the last time I had a bowel movement, on this diet. As soon as I eat, boom, it just is like goes right through me. I better be finding the restroom real quick, Do you have that same familiar...
I have that problem. My worry is this, BJ. I'm an addict, and I'm addicted to this diet right now.
Yeah.
And so here's how my day starts. I get up, I go to the bathroom, and every day the second thing I do after my morning constitutional is I step on the scale. And that's not, that's almost anorexic.
That's what I do. I jump on the scale every morning. I got to check, and I do it every night before I go to bed.
See, I don't do it when I go to bed because I don't want to know what I gained during the day.
Well, see, I want to know what I drifted, what wrestlers used to call drift weight. Where your body goes, and it's part of going through that, whatever you sleep, that 10-hour period of not drinking, not eating, and your body is...
fasting diet.
Yeah,
Because you've done that too, haven't you?
And let's talk about that fast a second here, BJ.
But let's finish what you were saying about you're an addict, about weighing.
Yeah.
About weighing yourself every day and all of that, because I think that's important to know for other people.
Well, I worry, especially females that are consumed by their weight. And right now I'm a little consumed with my weight.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a good consumed.
Well, who
it isn't
to
like
say that?
Well, it isn't like you're not eating.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
You're not doing harm to your body. You're doing a good thing for your body.
You're right.
You're not doing harm where you're not eating, and you're not. You know what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So it's a good thing that you're doing what you're doing.
See, I worry the minute that I don't start weighing myself, and we talked about the minute that I stop weighing myself is the minute I'm going to start weighing or start gaining weight.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I weigh myself at night too. I just want to check. To see if I did good. Usually I'll gain about 2 pounds of water weight or whatever. And that's just basically water weight, because all the proteins that you're putting into your body, like a bodybuilder, what do? What do they take them protein shakes?
Mm-hmm.
They take everything, and your body's sucking up all that protein, and it's saying, I want more, and it's saying, I want more. So that's where I'll go, and I know that I'm going to start losing weight, and I'm at that again. You want to know why? My belt buckle. I haven't lost any weight, but my waist shrunk, where I can tighten that belt buckle up one more loop.
Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah, I haven't lost the weight yet. And then all of a sudden I'll lose about 4 or 5 pounds in like a 2-day period. It's because my body is like, oh, I can release it now. I can release that, and all of a sudden it's gone. But you've already done it, and now... Have you kind of noticed that scenario where you've tightened up your belt buckle one more time, but you haven't lost any weight?
Oh, I'd buy a different belt. Yeah, I'd buy a different belt. And yes, my, and I'm a little older than you, BJ. I'm probably 20 years older than you. Not quite, 15 years older than you. And my torso has muscled up. And I used to do 1,000 sit-ups a day. I was telling BJ this before. And I did when I was running. I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot when I was running. When Syndrome had me, when I was working with Syndrome, it was easy to do 1,000 sit-ups, 100 at a time, and...
The last time I decided to do some sit-ups, I was so sore I could hardly get around.
Well,
all those muscles are going, oh, you ignored me for years, and now all the ones were working. So
my back won't allow me to do that anymore. Yeah. But this has trimmed my stomach down. Yeah. I still have a little bit of a pouch.
And that's what we were, like you and I have talked, because I haven't worked out, you haven't worked out. And that's where we need to start kind of, because I don't. now I'm loose skinned or whatever you want to call it. I think, like we discussed, we should probably start working out a little bit, doing something, just doing something physical.
Yeah.
I drive around all day. I pick up equipment. I'll get out of my truck. In an 8-hour time, I'll get out of my truck for an hour, load up my equipment, and I'm back on the road for another 4 hours. So of course, I bought a bike. My wife was like, I don't know why you bought it. It's been out twice.
Yeah.
But at least I have that option, and I'm going to take up on that option of riding a bike and stuff. And I need somebody to kind of push me. I need somebody to be like, hey, BJ, let's work out at 7 o'clock in the morning, or this or that. I need that because I just can't go to the gym by myself. It's what fun is it to me? I need somebody to push me, and that's the way I've always been. Yeah. I need somebody to do that for. And we've talked about it, Jim, and I hope you and I will come to a plan and saying, hey, let's go, even if it's just a little bit of movement or whatever, to strengthen us up a little bit.
Yeah. I like the bike ride thing. I love to ride bike. I ran, and my foot is injured right now, and I ran in the pool the other day for an hour. Oh, I felt so good. I've got a belt that I put on that keeps me upright, and it's like instead of swimming, you're running in the water. Yeah. Oh my gosh! I mean, it was great. I hadn't run for 8 years, and I could run. I ran for an hour.
Yeah. To get that heart going.
Yeah, got the heart going. Then I went to Walmart, checked my blood pressure right after, and right after I ran, and it was like 117 over, or it was 117 over 80 after I had ran for an hour.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if it's 117 over 80 after I ran for an hour, then what was it before?
Yeah,
it was
resting.
pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back then. I want to talk fasting. Dale, if you got questions, shut me up.
No, you're doing fine. Just like I taught you. See.
Well, thank you. What do you do for fast, BJ? You talk about that 10-hour fast, or that time you when you go to bed and you don't eat.
I think it takes, what is it? And correct me if I'm wrong here, because I think it's a 48-hour fast where your body really starts to heal itself, to repair like your muscles or anything like that, like torn muscles, torn anything. They say a fast is supposed to be the best thing for you, because your body puts in like an injury or something like that. Have you kind of read the same thing with something like that, where fasting, where your body will actually go into a mode, and it's like a starvation mode or whatever, where it'll start to heal itself and repair itself, because it really doesn't have to fight any sugars away or anything else going into your system.
Well, it's not busy digesting food either. I mean,
correct.
That may be
And that's what I meant by that. And that's what I kind of mean by that. And it's creating energy. Well, energy and everything else, you're going to lose weight. And so I try to, fasting for me isn't very good, because I like to eat. And I just...
You just have to sleep longer. See?
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. But no, just water and stuff. But a fasting, shoot, I'll lose 5-6 pounds in a 48-hour fast. I mean, what's the most that you've probably lost have you done a 48-hour fast?
The longest fast I ever did was 71 hours.
Wow.
That was before I did this diet. I would always promise myself at the back end of it, all right, I'm going to go and have a steak and potatoes and a big lettuce salad. Yeah, a reward meal. And I would lose like 9 or 10 pounds. Usually it was at the beginning of my diet, where that 9 or 10, any diet is easy to lose 9 or 10 at the beginning of the diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could lose that real easy. But with this diet, like yesterday I did a 24-hour fast. I had breakfast yesterday at 9 o'clock, and this morning I had breakfast at 9:30. And
nothing in between.
Nothing. Well, see, when the doctor said I couldn't have any Mozambique, she said, when you're hungry, drink coffee. And she said, change. The coffee is going to give you a little energy. And you're gonna fill yourself up a little bit, so you're not, instead of food, you just have fluid in you.
Yeah. Yep.
So like at about 6 o'clock at night, after supper, I'll have a cup of coffee instead of dessert. That's my dessert now.
Do you put, now, I've heard, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I've heard people put a slice of butter in their coffee. Have you tried that?
I haven't.
I'm not kidding you, Dan. They say it's like a creamy, and it's good.
So this is just everything I have ever learned that's just opposite of
Oh
what
yeah,
they-
absolutely.
Yeah.
But here you go, Dale. So like back in the old days, like when your mom and your grandma, were there people really with that many heart issues or the cancer issues?
Yeah. No.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and see, they worked hard.
Yeah.
They ate big, but they worked big too.
Yeah.
And now we still eat big, but we don't do the work.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the real difference. So.
Do you think like the preservatives and all of that, the adjectives, the preservatives that we are putting in our food?
Yeah, I'm sure they're no good. Yeah, I would think.
But
my daughter told me this is look at the ingredients.
Oh yeah.
The fewer the ingredients, the better you are. And if you can't pronounce the ingredients, don't eat it.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a hash brown potatoes you can buy. All that's in there is potatoes. That's it. And so that I was so I know what you're talking about here.
Yeah. And they said, the apple. Okay, here's a perfect example. And you can fact check me, you can do whatever you want on this. But an apple, 25 to 30 years ago, if you had the two apples together, you would not even eat the one. You'd take the one bite of the one right now, and you'd throw it away. You'd spit it out.
Yeah.
Because they've what do you want to call that? They've reinvented the apple.
Yeah.
Of with all the stuff, and then you got the pesticides. You got all this. You got all that. And an apple, you take an apple now, and it has so much sugars into it.
Yeah.
And like the banana, a banana really wasn't meant to be ate. Back in the day, they had it was terrible. Right now, they taken the banana and basically made it edible. And there's so many sugars in a banana.
I think fresh fruit today you buy in a store, it has no taste at all. I remember what food used to look or taste like. Eating apples and carrot, all that stuff. The fruit and vegetables today, they don't have any taste as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just terrible. And tomatoes, if you get a garden tomato and a tomato.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So no,
everything's hybrid now.
I never heard that about bananas though. So
yeah, like the quickest they can get to market and the quickest they can look at what we're doing with our crops. It's everything that you look at. It's in and out and how much yield and how much money and for all of that.
We buy these giant strawberries in the store, bright red, and you cut them open and they're white. Inside they're not ripe at all.
Yeah.
But that's what that's what you.
So I looked at a study on. It's funny you brought up strawberries because I did a study, or I looked up a study on it. I think Harvard University did this. They took apples right out of like Walmart or whatever. Basically, took all the juices, strained them all down, and they did a pesticide thing on it. And they said they could spray a 40-acre field 3 times with how much pesticides were still left on them strawberries. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Yes.
It's nuts on how much that everything.
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
A root beer float today. How much?
Oh, that sounds so good.
I know. And I'm an ice cream guy.
Yeah, too.
But with the cravings, it's funny that you say like your coffee and stuff. So when I get my wife is struggling on this diet because she is a chocolate freak. I never eat really too much chocolate. I was never raised. My dad would never. I never got a Snickers bar.
Sure.
When I was growing up, I was meat and potato and everything kind of guy. But she's struggling, and I tell her and I say, hey. You know what I do whenever I'm craving something like ice cream? I'm a huge ice cream guy. I take a pepper jack cheese. I'll just take it and eat a couple slices, and that pepper,
does it, huh?
Yeah, that pepper jack cheese. You get that different taste in your mouth, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't crave that anymore. You get that. Yeah, and that's what I do. I'll if I get hungry, I'll do like something, and you need to find something like that if you're really struggling with something.
Yeah.
Find an alternative.
Well, that brings us back to our sponsor, Mickey D's, because we talked
He's
about...
going to just sponsor me or kick us out.
because
those guys. So.
BJ and I were talking about our pizza.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And so I went to Mickey D's. You know, Mickey D's, as always, was right by the Steve Brown Arts Center for Farmers Day. And they're always so kind to us. Mike came over and said, well, I want to bring you over pizza. What would you like for pizza? I said, Mike, I love your pizza. And I can't eat your pizza because, you know, I don't want the crust. I said, I ate my style pizza, though. A friend of mine will fix my style pizza for me. He said, well, what's your style? And I said, well, what I do is, and BJ taught me this, what I do is cheese down on the pan, bake that for a while so it gets hard, then I put the sauce on and more cheese on it, and then the meats, and eat it that way. He went to his son Ian that was cooking and said, make it like this, and it was wonderful.
Oh yeah.
I ate the whole. It was a large pizza.
Really?
I lost 2 pounds that day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not kidding you. So we talk about that.
Yeah.
And there's so many different diets out there, and the carnivore diet was the easiest diet I've ever had. For the weight loss and how good I feel. When I go to other diets, you got to kind of starve yourself, or you got to do this. It don't matter on the carnivore. You eat as much as you want. You know, my belly's full. I'm feeling pretty. You know, and that's the way it is. You eat as much as you want. Yeah. And I feel I'm eating less and less and less every day.
It is. So
and there's so much good things about it. So Harvard University took 2,036 people, and all of them had a diabetic problem. Either they were on insulin or medication or this or that. 100% of them, 100% were cured. They were either they went off their insulin or they went off of their pills or their medication for that. And that's like unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, for 100% of them to do that. But they only did 236 people. You know, and that's where I was at. I was pre-diabetic. He was going to put me on medicine.
Now, you got to wonder, BJ, and you mentioned it on the air here in our conversation, that this is a lifetime change for you.
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
You got to wonder, of those 2,036 people, how many of those, when they got out of the Harvard study, how many of those stayed with it?
Yeah.
And that is my worry. I mean, like I say, I'm an addict.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I miss that I love is Dr. Pepper. Oh my gosh, I love Dr. Pepper.
But you can have it. You can have a cheat day. I mean, what's it going to hurt you? But the thing is that you got to remember to go back on it. You can have a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
You can, but your mind has got to be like, okay, one's enough. Like me, I know I drank so much Mountain Dew. I know if I drink one more Mountain Dew that I'm going to be like you and your Dr. Pepper. Oh, it ain't going to hurt me. One more won't hurt me. That's where your mindset's got to get and be like, no, it's bad for me, you know.
Well, what do they say? There's 21 days, it's a fad. 90 days is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you've been on this more than 90 days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we started, I think you started right with me. We started in March.
Yeah, I started March 17th. They're right in there.
Yeah, and same with me. You know, that's about right when we started, you know. So, and I've lost over 40 pounds, and I lost that right away, and now I kind of I'm stable out. I would like to lose another 10, but I think what I'm going to have to do to lose that other 10 is get physical, you know, and I mean where we got to start lifting weights, get that heart going, and which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing, you know, to get your heart rate going in the morning or in the evening or whatever, just doing something.
You know, I look at myself, and I noticed this you know, I was looking at my fingernails, and I will look at my fingernails. You know, I was looking at my fingernails are a different color. They're a different shade from this diet.
Oh, okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's a good color. It
It's
isn't
a
a bad
good
color.
No.
I have to get closer.
And they say that your skin too. Your skin really starts to glow and shine and clear up. So like if you have a bad acne problem or anything, and that's a lot of what you eat, your chocolates and everything else, your skin starts to, you know, kind of repair itself and get a nice shiny glow. And in my face, I can tell it in my facial and stuff, you know, that, and look it up. It's a true, you know, that the carnivore diet, that your skin will start to shine and look, and you'll look a lot better.
I shave my head once every 70 hours probably, and I used to cut myself all the time.
Yeah, I've seen you where you're bleeding.
Yeah. And since I started this diet, I don't cut my head from shaving. Now I hit my head on the truck from work all the time because I'm so tall. But I don't cut myself shaving anymore.
Yeah.
So what would you tell people about the carnivore diet? If somebody come up to you and said, Jim, what are you doing? Because you look very noticeable, like you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I noticed that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So I mean, if somebody come up to you that seen you 4 or 5 months ago, right?
Yeah.
They said, man, Jim, the last time I seen you, you lost like 50 pounds. What are you doing?
Yeah. See, I thought he was ill.
Yeah.
I really, a few weeks ago,
Right.
3-4 weeks ago. Because you looked like you had lost too much weight too quickly, and to me that was a bad sign that you were ill of some, you know. And
Right. You know, and the weird thing is, Dale, and I thought that too. I'm losing weight so fast. I'll buy a London broil steak, you know, this big, that gives me 3 steaks, so I can have 2 for supper and 1 for breakfast, and then I'll eat 3 for supper. and it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's freaking bizarre.
I have to tell you guys, this was not the conversation I thought we were going to have tonight. It's really different. It's sort of like Kelly and Kathy Lee kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, it's very interesting, though, I have to tell you.
There's a lot of good to it, though. I mean, if I can help somebody, and I'm glad you were.
He was eavesdropping on the
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Because I was to the point where I had to do something. You know, I was done. You know, I mean, I'm not healthy. I looked at myself and I'm like, man, what in the world? I looked at, you know, that picture that I showed you guys earlier. I looked at that picture and I'm just like, who is that guy? I hated looking in the mirror. What can I do? Well, it's just easier just to screw it, go to McDonald's, drive through, you know, and not change my lifestyle. I did, and I love it. I'm not even pre-diabetic. My numbers are good. I might live a little bit longer the way I look at it, you know.
You asked what I would tell people. Fix your own meals at home. I mean, I was a slave to McDonald's and going out and eating, stopping at Quick Start, getting a candy bar and a bottle of pop.
I ate too many pizzas.
Yeah, pizzas, there you go. A lot of pizzas. You know, I would get a pizza, a large pizza, and eat it, you know, with the crust and everything. But I would tell them that as of right now, and what are we in this now, BJ? We're 3 months in.
Oh no.
April,
We got
May,
March,
4
April,
months.
May. Yeah, we're a little over 4 months.
Yeah.
So about 120 days in.
Yeah.
And I don't see any negative other than, and I was thinking about this yesterday, that in August I'm scheduled for all those nasty tests where you have to go in and drink that nasty stuff and clean yourself out. I worry about that because of the lack of movement.
So you don't go every day then?
I only go probably once every 5 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's what they say with the carnivore diet is that everybody's like, oh, I'm not having my daily bowel movements, or I'm not. And I try to look up studies on it, and they say the carnivore diet's good for your digestive, for your immune systems, and for all of that. There's not really a negative thing on that. So I'm very interested to see what your doctor says about that, about your movements and about all of that stuff. That, you know, I really am. I really want to
The thing that I worry about is, and they told me when I had my last one was 10 years ago, they said, no, don't come back for 10 years for this.
Yeah.
And I thought, this can't be good to only do this every 10 years because...
Well, you must have been clean the first time.
Well, I was clean.
Yeah.
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 But that is my only concern from this.
I asked my doc that, and he said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "You'll be fine." You know, he was a fan on the carnivore diet, and I asked him about, well, I'm not going daily.
Yeah.
Not a problem. You know, I'm anxious to see, what your doctor said. I mean, there's all different opinions on a lot of stuff.
Crazy question, but are your stools the same as they were before?
No.
Are they different?
No, it depends on if I ate a lot of cheese.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
If I eat a lot of cheese, oh yeah, it's rock solid.
Yeah.
Now if I eat, and I'm not I quit eating so much cheese a day now. So now I'll like today I'm on a pork fetish, pork chops, and then I ate brats before I came in. Butter. I soaked it in butter.
Yeah. That's all good.
So I soak, so I pour a little bit of beer in there, and I put a chop up butter and onion, and I soak it and I boil it, bring it to a boil, and then I put it on the grill.
Mm-hmm. But no bread, no bun.
No bread, no bun. I just take it and eat it like a I'll go through them. I just eat the crap out of that. Elk meat's one of the best, leanest,
no fat on it.
I think that is like one of the best meats for you would be elk. And I just shot that one this year, of course, and I've been eating on that, and I'll keep eating on that until it's gone. But but everything gets old for me, so I'll switch. Then I'll start doing chickens. So then I'll smoke a chicken, all right, and I'll shredded up meat and stuff, and just pull. And I used to eat it with cheese or whatever, just put some cheese over top of it.
Barbecue sauce, anything like that? No, they can't have that. Okay.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. I use that.
Yeah, you can. Like ketchup. Like today, I was dipping my brat into ketchup and taking it. Well, there's sugar in it.
Yeah.
I'm not that hardcore to where, I try to get the sugarless ketchup or whatever, but moderation.
Sure.
If you eat a little bit of moderation, I mean, it is. But I just don't give myself the carbs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it.
Okay.
Back to my BLT question.
Okay.
You got the BLTs on your mind.
I do. So, okay. So bacon, I'll fry the bacon up. I'm a cheater when it comes to that. I'll buy that box of pre-cooked bacon.
Oh, get the fairway bacon on the counter. That's the very best bacon.
I think I got something for you, for them BLTs. Now, what happens if you do the pizza crust? So my wife made taco shells, like how we're doing the same thing. So what she did was she draped the taco shell, or the cheese, that basically burnt cheese is what it is, right? And she just drapes it over a thing. Now, what happens if you just have two, put it on top, put your bacon and lettuce.
Oh, there you go.
Or, on top of that cheese, cheese thing, and use that as your bread.
Two thin sliced pork chops and put the bacon and the lettuce in between.
No, you know what I'm saying, Jim? Something like that.
Yeah.
Because have you tried it on taco shells? The same thing that we're talking about, how you do your pizza. What she does is she'll have 2 cups, and she'll put the cups, and she puts a wooden spoon over top, and then she'll just drape that cheese, and it'll form into a taco shell. Oh. And that's what we use for taco shells.
Slices of cheese, you mean?
No, like the burnt cheese.
Okay.
So as soon as she gets it out of the oven, she'll take that cheese and just lay it over top of that fork, because them wooden forks are,
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, so she'll take that and just drape it over, and it'll actually, when it's warm, it'll actually melt, and it'll form to an actual taco shell.
And you slice your own cheese, or do you buy sliced cheese, BJ?
No, I slice my own cheese and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That Velveeta cheese and all that really isn't cheese.
Yeah.
you can burn that stuff and it'll turn blacker and black, and you can see the oils and everything else coming off that stuff. No, I buy the good cheese, and I'll slice everything myself. And
Velveeta, if you'd like to sponsor us, come to us, please, and we'll change our tone.
opinion.
I ate that a lot as a kid. We had Velveeta cheese.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, the
Probably
Velveeta slices. Have you ever seen one of them like go through and you start warming them up? And everything else?
You should put it on top of like macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
She'd melt it, but you would put slices of it on top and bake it, and when it turned black, that's when we ate it. I always thought that black cheese was really good. So.
Yeah. Do you slice your own cheese and
I
stuff?
slice my own cheese, yeah. I go out to the Amish store out there and I'll buy like a 5-pound block of cheese, and that cheese will last me. But I'm a cheesemonger. I eat cheese for breakfast. Like when I went to Russia, we would have for breakfast cheese and tomatoes and salami and summer sausage, and I'll eat that a lot for breakfast. This morning for breakfast, I ate a late breakfast, like I said, after a 24-hour fast. I cooked up a stuffed pepper with chili beans, cheese, and jalapenos, and then I eat a ton of barbecue sauce on my meats, and I put barbecue sauce on. Then I threw lettuce on top. I'm moving over a little bit to the Atkins stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm eating more vegetables now.
Yeah.
This English muffin toasting bread. So I had 2 slices of that toasted with peanut butter, and then some grapefruit and banana, and then coffee. That's what I had for breakfast. You wouldn't eat any of that, right?
No. Hey, Dale.
Yeah.
When we're off of here, look up how much sugar grapefruit produces. I'm running all
You're killing me.
Are you on anything for cholesterol?
No.
Good for you.
I'm not on any pills at all.
Oh, really? You're not?
No.
That's awesome.
See,
Has your family pretty healthy like that and stuff?
Yeah, and I have a lot of relatives that live to be in their 90s.
That's awesome.
I have a relative who lived to be 116.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So no, I'm not on any cholesterol or right there though where they keep saying, well, I said, no, I'm fine. And so it's a little bit above 200.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to take a lot of medicine. So.
Because of that Atavastin, I can't have grapefruit.
Yeah. That's my wife can't eat a lot of grapefruit either because of medicine she takes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. It's
There's something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a daughter-in-law is a pharmacist, so it helps that she can tell us, don't mix grapefruit with this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
Right. BJ, is there anything else about your diet that we've left out?
Well, will you come back sometime and talk about hunting elk and fishing and that sort of thing? Because I would love to hear more about that.
Absolutely. I'll come back.
I did.
I think it's very interesting. Yeah, because both of you are into it and have had, remarkable success. So
Yeah,
I think it's great.
absolutely. I'll be glad to come. I can
that'd
always
be
talk
great.
hunting and fishing and whatever.
And don't make him ask you 55 times. Just the first time he says, "Come on, you're coming back." So,
It was fun tonight. It was. I knew you'd have fun once you got on here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only thing that I would really say is that, look into it and ask your doctor, if of what you need to do or anything. I did do it, and he kind of scolded me when I did tell him, but he was a fan of it. And that's the only thing that, just kind of, because not every diet's for you, like the keto, and you're going to a different diet, but I really feel that all the sugars that there is and everything, the preservatives that the U.S. has, because it's not allowed into a lot of countries. Fruit Loops. Yeah. I'll close on this. Fruit Loops. Like
I don't eat those. I'm good.
Like Canada. There's 2 things into Canada. You go to the U.S. Fruit Loops, there's like 12 different adjectives and preservatives in it, where it's not allowed anywhere else. So you just kind of got to look at what you're eating, what you're putting into your body.
Now, I don't know if you remember Catherine Letchworth, but she taught up here, and she was an older woman, and she lived to be a pretty good age. I was teaching, this might be 40 years ago, but she had a book she was reading about sugar and how addictive it was, same as heroin,
Oh, yeah.
And she was a real big believer in that, and So, 50 years ago, whenever they wrote that book, I mean, people knew that sugar was bad for you and that it was addictive and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but they'll still keep pumping it into you as long as they can make it.
Oh, yeah.
Because sugar is still one of those products that gets a government subsidy, I believe, to keep them growing more sugar, the sugar cane people. And so, but those are the people that are killing you, not these poor Mexican immigrants.
You're right.
Those white people selling us all this stuff and making fortunes. So,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was
Well,
I'm sure 40 years ago, maybe longer than that, she was reading that book, and so they knew about this stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, and of course, you look at, and like we said, you look at the cholesterol level back 30 years ago was at 300. They wouldn't even touch you or look at you until you're 300.
I didn't even know there was cholesterol. I had no idea.
So now they lowered it to 200. That's big pharma with all the statins and all of this. Of course they want to put you on all of this medication. Of course they want to feed you all these sugars. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
You can base it on whatever you want to on that, but
well, thank you.
It's really good. I'm glad you came. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I'll be back and we'll talk.
I'd love to have you
we'll talk about hunting and fishing because I just got back from a Canadian fishing trip.
You sent me some pictures, man. Some northern Dale that you and I would be jealous of. You should have seen them.
Yeah.
Are they bigger than 25 inches?
We caught a 46.
Did you really?
29 and a half pounds.
Yeah. I caught a 42-inch muskie one. That's the biggest, but I've never caught a 40-inch northern. Just in the 30s. But
we caught several. We caught a couple 38s, a 42, look at that 46. I had one on right up to the boat. I kicked my uncle's butt. He lipped it. I said he got off because he didn't want me to get one bigger than he did.
I've been interested in this. How do you? I don't know if you interact with the Canadians very much, but how are they treating you? Are they upset with America or this sort of thing? Or
no, it's a funny story. I got a speeding ticket while I was over there. He was They were good. So all the Canadians are great. Yeah. Just don't make the joke that they're gonna become a 51st state. No, they were good. No, everything was good. The outposts that we went to, they're awesome.
Okay, I just wondered how the people were feeling, because I know a lot of money comes across the border for them with fishermen and this sort of thing.
Absolutely.
But I didn't know if they were a little on edge or whatever.
No. Yeah. I mean, when we went through, it was the same old.
Yeah,
when we jokes and just the same old. Okay. I mean, I just believe it's the politicians that are in that news.
They couldn't come up with a name for Canada. Was the 51st state, so they're calling her Northerner Dakota.
Right.
See, so
no, everybody was good.
I was wondering about that.
No, the officer even was cracking jokes and stuff too. Nothing was said on anything.
Okay, I just wondered. So we're safe to go if we.
There you go. I would love to catch a 29-pounder. Oh my God!
It was a big fish.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Potato.
Yeah. So,
or a carp, either one.
A carp. Well, thanks again, BJ Youngblut, for coming in here.
If you want
for having great time.
If you brought Art Center Podcast Network, I want to do a thanks to the Farmers Day Committee here for allowing me to be the Grand Marshal this year.
It was our pleasure.
I've got a prepared statement, so I want to read this. No, that's all right. I want to extend my deepest thanks to everyone involved in the Jesup Farmers Day for the honor of being named this year's Grand Marshal. It's a privilege, and I don't take lightly. Though I'll admit riding through town without throwing candy felt like cheating the system. Jesup holds a special place in my heart, and Jesup Farmers Day embodies the best of what small-town Iowa was all about. Neighbors showing up, traditions carrying on, and laughter echoing down Young Street. I'm grateful to be part of a community that still knows how to celebrate each other with humility, humor, and a good old parade. Thank you for the memories, the kindness, and Jesup-themed glory. I will remember this forever, and I promise not to let the fame go to my head much. With heartfelt thanks. Thank you so much.
Now you need to get a new project and do really, really well at it so you can be a third-time Grand Marshal, which I think would be a grand record, an all-time record. So that would be wonderful.
All right. Well, just a few announcements for the Steve Brown Arts Center. Remember, we're showing Rex Nielsen's art over at M's Coffee in Independence. We also have Nick Thomas's art in Gedney's.
Is that going to change the 1st of June, July, or
we
you got somebody
are,
lined up? Or?
We have Alex DeGrief. Alex DeGrief was one of our guests on. He's going to be the new artist in July.
Okay.
We had a wonderful jam session of 5 people on Father's Day, which I didn't think we'd get anybody on for Father's Day. We had an artist collaboration this past Monday, and there were 4 artists there. Remember, we have our 24-hour Mustang camera sponsored by Joe's Pizza in Independence. You can watch the Independence Parade from your own house if it is too hot.
How did you think the mini art show went?
It was great. We had 54 pieces and 19 artists.
Okay.
The only bad thing was it was windy, and there were small pieces, but it was it was a great show. Remember the big brass or the brass blast. Look at BJ's taunting Dale with pictures. The brass blast brass band also played at Farmers Day, and they were incredible. The Farmers Day committee asked them to play an extra half hour actually, and they were excited
they played
to do
an extra
that.
45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Had to move them off the stage so the next guys had a chance. See, so.
I was talking to their head, Aiden Anderson, and he said that was their most enjoyable gig they've ever played.
Well, good. They are good.
Oh, they're handy.
Mean, I have people there that were music people, and they say these kids are good. So, and they were pleasant to talk to. Also, very nice. I visited with some of them, and so nice. Made me want to go back to college. Thinking, man, wouldn't it be fun to be back and just doing stuff like this. And
if you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center, have an idea for an event, go to the SteveBrownArtsCenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@SteveBrownArtsCenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. Thanks again. BJ is still taunting Dale with fish pictures here. Thanks again to BJ Youngblut for being on the air with us. I'm Jim Gillespie with co-host Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus. Thanks as always to Kelly C. Haas at Cowork 591 for hosting us and sponsoring us. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your life. And remember, each day is about little victories.